In August of 2021, a dozen Jeeps lined up on the sun-drenched shores of Daytona Beach, Florida. It was the one-year anniversary celebration of our newly founded group, the Dirty Bunch Jeep Club. As we sat next to our Jeeps, looking at the waves and soaking up the sun, a question was asked and an idea was proposed. What if we were to take our Jeeps up the east coast of the country and hit as many badge of honor trails as we possibly could do in a single trip? None of us knew exactly how many badges were available at the time, and internet coverage on the beach was all but non-existent that day. But we knew there were at least half a dozen available, and we knew that none of us in the group had done a single one of them. We'd heard that it was possible to put our Jeeps on a train traveling north, and with that idea floating out there, we all began to imagine the possibilities. And so, as we enjoyed good food, good drinks, and a gorgeous summer day on the beach, good friends began to plan what would become an epic Jeepin adventure. Epic Jeepin Adventure is brought to you by the Dirty Bunch Jeep Club. Check us out on Facebook, join our group, then come ride with us. For the next 9 months, we planned. Eventually, we nailed down a start date of May 28th, 2022. That date allowed us to take advantage of the Memorial Day weekend, which avoided school obligations for the kids and provided many of us adults with a paid day of vacation from work. The planning process stretched our week-long vacation into an 11-day overlanding expedition. Between August and May, we held 3 planning meetings, went to a Jeep show, an overlanding expo, and took 2 practice camping trips to help us nail down what gear we would and would not need. One of the founding members of the Dirty Bunch Jeep Club, Don from Driving Everest, broke out his rig, a very well-built Jeep Gladiator named, you guessed it, Everest. He spent a few hours talking to us about how to plan and pack our vehicles for long trips. We in turn took notes, discussed options, and practiced loading our vehicles. Although Don and his family were not going to be able to make this trip, as always, in true Jeeper fashion, they generously volunteered their time and knowledge to each of us. If you enjoy adventure traveling, check out their Instagram channel, Driving Everest, and follow along with their ongoing adventure. After 9 long months of preparations, we had finally finished building the skeleton, the bones of our travel plan. We would begin by making the short drive from Orlando, Florida to Sanford. There, we'd be able to load our Jeeps on the train, and then, on board, we'd spend the next 15 hours traveling north to Lorton, Virginia. Once the Jeeps were unloaded, we would make the short drive to Mount Vernon, where we'd be able to spend a few hours exploring the home of George Washington. From there, we'd take back roads and make our way to the Roush Creek Off-Road Park in Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. We'd camp there and then complete our first 3 Badge of Honor trails before heading to Hershey, Pennsylvania, where we would visit Hershey's Chocolate World. After that, we would all enjoy the first, and for some of us, the only night we would spend in a hotel. And then, the next day, we would head to Gettysburg, Virginia, where we'd spend the morning exploring the battlefields. From there, we would drive to Fort Valley, Virginia, and find our 4th badge trail, Peters Mill Run. Then we'd make our way to Louisa, Virginia, and spend the night at the small country campground. The next day, we'd travel down the road and spend the morning at Monticello, the home of Thomas Jefferson. After that, we'd make the long drive to Asheboro, North Carolina, and set up camp at Jellystone. The next day, we'd make the short drive to the Uwharrie National Forest, where we'd find Badge Trail number 5, Dickey Bell. Badge Trail number 6 would be 4 hours away in Lawrence County, South Carolina, at the Gulches Off-Road Vehicle Park. And Badge Trail number 7, our final Badge Trail, would be another 3 hours west in Blairsville, Georgia, the infamous Beasley Knob. Rather than make a long, single-day drive home, we opted to cut that in half by heading to Savannah, Georgia. There we would unwind and stay the night in a hotel. The next day we'd load up for the last time and make the final drive home to Orlando. All in all, we would travel more than 2,800 miles. We would complete 7 Badge of Honor trails and a dozen side excursions. It would be an 11-day travel vacation that would leave our heads spinning. We would be camping out for 9 of those 11 days. None of us had ever camped that long, and none of us had ever attempted to make a trip like this. Despite our best efforts, and despite a tremendous amount of planning, the reality was that we had no idea how this was going to go. What could possibly go wrong? The Dirty Bunch Jeep Club invites you to come ride with us as we begin what we would soon come to call our epic Jeepin adventure.